Alright, hey, welcome. Somebody's cursed. Alright, let's go. Warhammer Age of Sigmar. We have a lot to talk about from the very exciting, and I say this as if I'm holding up a cross to a vampire, right? The very exciting Age of Sigmar reveal show, because it was. It was that. Maybe almost enhanced, or rules emboldened by the side game show. That even the commentators are kind of... They had a bit of a Sisyphean task ahead of them. Skaven had a beautiful line of yeah, that was top memes there. Beautiful, maybe for 1995 standards, which is when some of them were made. Anyway, let's start it out, shall we? Recap article. And these are probably going to include more information than I saw yesterday. So, new Skaven Deathmaster sneaks into Warhammer Fest. Yeah, this guy actually looks cool. Nothing wrong with this. It's a, Deathmaster. His name, I believe, is like Kill or something. They used rat lingo for the dude's name. If your models can vote, they need to be updated. Yeah. He looks cool. I like him. And the Ninja Rat Warcry or Underworlds, I'm not sure which one it was. Probably Underworlds. Those guys looked excellent too. So great. Perfect update. And they're looking a little like their proportions are just better than they used to be, which I rather like. This guy, from what they were saying, he's supposed to be like a melee foot assassin, which, as you may well know, in the game of Age of Sigmar, melee foot assassin is basically the worst job you could have. Like, if you're talking about a role for a unit, it's like the worst one, because the way people play the game and the way the rules oblige people to play the game is such that melee foot assassin can't ever really do its job unless they give it like some teleports into combat. Not like they would have to give it a rule that crazy to have it actually do what it's supposed to do in the game, and they usually don't do that for models. Maybe they will though. He's an assassin. Some assassins in the game have rules like that where they hide in a unit, or Tenebrial Shard used to teleport, and maybe it's got some sneaky tricks because Skaven, rules-wise, have the sneaky tricks, so perhaps he does. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm saying he's primed and ready to be bad, and I'm hoping they do what they've done a few times before and almost try to make it decent. If anybody's going to get a rule like that, it's going to be Skaven. Deathmaster of Stab Kills, the official... Yeah, I thought that was a cool name because they included rat speak in his title. I kind of hope they rename all the heroes like that, because I think that's a little clever reference. I think that's fun. Curious what the shooting will be with that Ratarang. 8 inches, 1 attack, 3s and 3s, -1 D3 damage. And it's D3 because there's 3 prongs on this thing. That's the reason. Sneaky Skaven Assassins have been around for a very long time. You're fucking right, they have been. Jesus Christ. Yeah, the Skaven Assassins have indeed been around for a very long time. Older than I would say most players have been alive. Wound roll, natural 6, D3 mortal wounds, attack sequence ends. Yes, Attorney Rose. Yep, that's it. 3 attacks because you threw 3 in the video? Oh, sure, yeah. Perfect. But this is the first time we've seen one in plastic. This whole sentence is so sad and true. As you can see, it's been updated with some very Warhammer Age of Sigmar looking terrain. You mean rocks? They look classic Skaven, including a weaponized tail, which is a nice touch. They got that inchworm tail, along with Skittershank's claw pack from Nethermaze. Yeah, that thing actually looked sick. Can we open that up in a new tab? Yeah, these guys looked so great. Damn. 5 out of 7 on these. So cool. Downright almost makes Skaven look neat. And I think it actually does. Great poses, great proportions. I'm not even comparing them to what they used to look like because I feel like that's not fair. They used to look like Christmas cookies that were fully 2D and baked in the oven and came out like those monkeys you put in barrels. So you can't even compare this to the old stuff, because obviously it's going to look better. This shit looks great for Age of Sigmar itself, in my opinion. Anyway, that's great. They're coming out with a new book that does have the same cover art as the old book, but I can't bring myself to complain earnestly about that. It's a legitimate complaint for somebody to have, like, oh, they didn't even update our art. Just like they didn't update the art for Fire Slayers. Just like they didn't update the art for Nighthaunt, right? Some armies got art updates on their cover. Some armies did not. If your cover art already looks cool, and this art does, I already don't care, right? It looks sweet. My problem is with Fire Slayers, where I don't like the cover art and they didn't update it, right? But even so, even in situations like that, the most important thing is that your rules are fun and good. And then the second most important thing is 100,000 other things. And then at the very bottom, it's like, what does your cover art happen to be? It's the least important detail imaginable. So I struggle. I think it's just Twitch acting that anyone actually cares about that shit. It doesn't matter. If your rules are fun and good, who cares? It's not like you're going to be looking at the book. You're going to be looking at an app. You know? Or Wikipedia. You're not going to be looking at this thing. It's going to be on your shelf, but you're only going to be looking at the spine. Remember, it's a physical book, and the year is 2022. You're just never going to use this thing. It's a collector's piece. For people who are technologically illiterate or don't go to tournaments or something. I don't know. It's just, to me, it doesn't matter much. Oh, you know what? Maybe it does matter because it's a collector piece. Because there's no real reason to ever buy a battle tome in real life. It might as well really have excellent art because it's a collector piece. Okay, no, maybe I've talked myself out of it. Maybe it does matter. It still matters the least out of every other possible thing, but maybe it does matter a little bit through that lens. Yeah, my take on this is evolving the more I think about it. The cover art does matter, because buying a physical book is something a collector would do. Because 2 weeks after the book comes out, some of the stuff in the book is different because of FAQs or updates. Next GHB comes out in a month. All the points are different, maybe. Usually not, but maybe. The app has a bunch of mistakes too, but that's why you go to, Wikipedia. So it does matter, although it still matters less than everything else. Yeah, I think I'm gonna sit on that. Long story short, this guy looks cool. The thing he replaced did not, and was older than you are. Great. Hopefully he has the sneaky abilities that you would expect based on the Ashen rules from the old book. I'm ever so pleased Skaven are finally getting a new battle tome, and I have a lot of hopes and dreams for it to really capture that spirit, always overcharging everything. And they got this mostly right in the last battle tome, and so I'm hoping that carries over here. What you want it to be is, if you choose to overcharge it, a rational person would choose to do so because it's more likely to help you than it is to hurt you, by at least 3 to 1, right? And when you roll a 1 or when it doesn't work, they explode. And so that, that comic where it's like, I'm a genius, oh no, and then there's an explode. That's Skaven gameplay, and I hope that stuff is maintained. I hope it's silly and fun and self-sacrificial and reasonably strong. And I wish you could, hopefully they relax some of the bingo you had to play in that original book, because the original one had weird bingo. It was like 100% of your models have to be this, you can't use anything of the other guys, no allies. I kind of get it, but they're all Skaven at the end of the day, right? Sorry for the off topic, but isn't it weird that they didn't say anything about Nighthaunt and Daughters of Cain book release date? As a company talking about what their plans for the future are, yes. As Games Workshop historically, no. Final verdict on Skaven. New book. Hype. Awesome. New hero. Looks cool. The army in the whole game. And, Seraphon is kind of fighting against this, but they will lose in the battle of who has the oldest, shittiest looking crap. Skaven is the clear winner here. And they got 1 hero. So it is depressing to me that that I didn't see 4 or 5 or even 2 or 3 of their most ancient, shittiest sculpts get the Chaos Warrior facelift, right? That is sad. But you have a new book, a new hero. Hopefully your rules are good. One of the worst armies in the game right now statistically. They needed it. Games Workshop doesn't choose things based on need. Clearly. But overall, it was good. If a little sad. Next up was Silvanath. New Silvanath have been empowered by the Rite of Life. Alright. This is, to talk out of turn, but this is a branch wraith, and I think it might just be what a branch wraith is. They might keep the old model, they might not keep the old model. Remember, Alariel used to be like some fine-cast looking ass foot hero, and then they made the giant beetle version, right? This could be what's happening to the branch wraith. It sounded like just sort of a giga branch wraith, to be honest. Summoning abilities, healing, synergy effects, and that would be alright. That would be okay. Lady of Vines. I don't know if Lady of Vines is a unique named or not. Doesn't sound like it, because you also have Spirit of Durthu, who kind of sounds like it but isn't. Then again, it says the Lady of Vines up here, not an Lady of Vines. And I think she appears in the novel next to Gardas. So perhaps this is the named version, maybe there's a generic version. A lot's up in the air. I like her, she looks cool, has some Dr. Octagon stuff. Dr. Octavius. Not the musician. The Step on Me, Tree Mommy fucking meme, which is always good. She isn't alone either, and she comes with Death on Silken Wings. Yeah, these guys look sick. I'm gonna turn off dark mode real quick. And de-enhance a little bit, so we can see this stuff. These are Namarti Reavers with wings. They're probably going to be good. And I think they're cool. I just like them. They chose the Sephiroth hair ones, Spite Revenants, or Tree Revenants instead of Spite Revenants, for the most part. Yeah, Flying Tree Revs with bows. And if you look very carefully, they don't have wings. It's like a jetpack bug wing backpack, which I think is just charming as AF. Very nice. Also, this is the waifu one. We protect her. Yeah, they have very, Namarti Reaver looking poses for the most part. Winged infantry is cool, which we had more. Kaodak and Furries or some off the top of your head. What other armies do you think could get winged infantry? I would keep that to a minimum in general. Maybe it's because I'm old or I don't want to be a stick in the mud, but I feel like even something as basic as archers that have flying, right? I want to keep that as unique for the people who happen to have it as possible. I don't want any more than like 1/6 of armies to have something like that. I like to, at this stage of the game, people have kind of settled into what their army factions' expected roles can be. And I think it's time to make them excel at those things for the most part, instead of, oh, hey, this thing is just good, we'll give it to everybody. This thing is just good, we'll give it to everybody. And kind of dilute the uniqueness of a lot of different armies. Now, why am I so excited about Silvanath after just saying that? Because Silvanath was one of the armies, in my opinion, that had not properly settled into what its role should be in the game. Because its role was Kurnoth Hunters and then just a bunch of crap. With a smaller model range than I was pleased with. So, it's okay here, but don't go crazy, I guess. They were Alpha Bunker in first edition. They were strong Alpha Bunker in first edition. In first edition, Silvanath were probably the best Alpha Bunker army. No, that was probably Fire Slayers. Never mind. That was arguably Fire Slayers. But, yeah, they were Alpha Bunker Magic Wizard combo, sort of, in first edition. And their claim to fame was if you played perfectly and had a good plan, most of your opponents deterministically had lost the game by the time you were both deploying. There just wasn't anything you could do. You deployed and outdropped them and chose to go first automatically. You, without rolling, teleported all your stuff exactly where it needed to go. And on certain battle plans, your opponent might as well just concede because he's going to lose statistically on objectives. And there just wasn't anything they could do about it. And that was, like, terrifically not fun, right? But it required, a pretty good Silvanath player to pull that off, to be fair. And it didn't work against the best armies. Because they could actually just kill your shit. Most armies couldn't. And the average player doesn't want to lug an extra entire box of fucking Wildwoods to every event, and so very few people played Silvanath seriously. And then in second edition, their identity was, this army is just bad. All the way up until they got Flute Man, and then their identity became cool Mortal Wounds combo, and some Kurnoth Hunters, and a whole bunch of duct tape and baling twine.
At the tail of the tape.
Some of them may be involved with exotic stuff, like dark matter.
An ABC News Brief brought to you by Michelob Light Beer. Now from Washington, Sandra Van Oker.
I'm pleased by this range update for Silvanath. This was huge. This was a big W. Big old dub. Nausicaa intensifies. In my script for the every army video that's coming out as soon as they stop machine gun giving me new information that renders the stuff I've already written irrelevant, like this. The new player tip for what movie to watch for your army is Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind for Silvanath. And I guess I called it better than I thought, because this is just that. These guys are great. They look like they could be the Silvanath Eels, which Silvanath has historically allied in more times than they're comfortable admitting. Bug riders with spears. Probably because they have spears, they tend to have charge bonuses. It's just how it works. This is exciting for Silvanath. This is very exciting for Silvanath. It's a unit that isn't slow, unless it's next to a Wildwood somehow. Like, great. Looks like the mounts have bite and stinger attacks. Yeah, for sure. They have a clearly defined big stinger. They got a bite, mandibles. So, I don't know. Maybe it's too easy to just say they're eels, but we'll see what their rules are. It seems like it could be the case. Stealing the rotflies. Yeah, mouth parts. They have a good mouth part feel. Couldn't just let Top Gifter sit under 2 digits. Alright, fair enough. Thanks a lot. And also, I like the banner. I like the banner. These guys are awesome. Wholesome. I don't think I said wholesome mouth parts. Quit putting words in my mouth parts. Alright, enhance. Back to dark mode. For the vampires in chat. Revenant Seekers are a touch slower. A touch slower, eh? Spite Rider Lancers. I'm assuming 12. Maybe even 14 because they're bugs with 4 wings, so maybe they're really fucking fast, I'm not sure. My guess is 12 or 14, and for these guys, 8 or 10. When they mean a touch slower, I assume they're letting us down easy, and it's actually much slower. 8 or 10, maybe. What the bug mouth part's doing, though? I've seen what you guys have been posting in Discord, alright? I remember those memes. Focusing on the vital task of harvesting the life energy of fallen Silvanath to resurrect their allies. Cool, we got some node stuff going on. More wings equals faster. Well, these are red, too. They should be faster, but they're just not. They don't follow orc rules. Cool. A flying synergy piece that heals / resurrects stuff. Great. Very exciting. I think I did it on the on the reveal show, but unironically the red letter media meme, except like on purpose. Very cool. This is awesome. I'm so pleased about Silvanath. Bonking chat, yeah. Wonder if the Seekers will give us a Necron-style playstyle. Are the Seekers a 2-model unit? That's interesting. That's what I thought during the reveal show as well. Could this be like the Poscoil Blight Lords box, where you make 2 of them and then you get a hero as the 3rd? If you're doing Seekers or 3-man units of these, and it means that there's no hero of this type. It's kind of a leap, but I'll make it. I'll make that assumption. Is that you have Revenant Seekers, there's going to be like Revenant Seekers, it's a 2-man unit, and then there's like a Revenant Seeker hero, and there just isn't for these. Or we just got a picture of 2 for some reason. Another reason why there could just be a picture of 2 is that there aren't 3 unique ways to build them in the box like there are for these guys, or more. So you're just kind of like copy-pasting them, and they only show you the unique ways to build it. They tend not to show you doubling up on stuff unless it's a squad of 10 or something. Yeah, and SE dragons work the same way. All these fabulous floral fighters and carapaced cavalry. Alright, chill. Calm down. Are arriving alongside the latest book for the Everqueen's Forest-Dwelling Sentinels battled home Silvanath, which you can expect to see more of in the coming weeks. I'm excited. This is awesome. 5 out of 7. I'm a big fan. I'm happy. I'm pleased. It looks like we're getting some fresh gameplay pumped directly into the Silvanath army. And I couldn't be more happy for them, because for a while there, Silvanath was kind of an annoying army to play and to play against, and you had to buy shitload of Wildwoods that kept changing every 2 months for a year and a half. What's the beta version of Wildwoods we're on today, and they're still not fun? Looks like we're getting a much needed fun injection to this army, and I hope that statement is true. So, Silvanath, strong 5 out of 7, awesome, in other words. Pretty hyped for it. And then we got Ogroid Theridons. You might say you're rooting pretty hard for the Tree Peoples, Ortirius. Good one. Now we got the bigs. Theridons are shock assault infantry par excellence, corded, fucking corded with thick muscle, and standing, oh hold on, enhance, and standing head and shoulders above lesser human warriors. Their speed and bulk carries them straight through enemy lines with an unstoppable horn-tipped charge, swinging colossal axes as easily as an elf would flick a paintbrush. What am I clicking on here? Where are you taking me? Cenari Caligrave. Okay, yeah. Oh, damn, I'm gonna buy that from the article. What a genius. Alright. These are actually great looking. These look great. These dudes look sick. I like them. Nice, big, bold, corded and thick banner. Flagging and erect right here. Good shaft. Nice detail. Good folds. Always like a good banner when I see one. Big axes. Big horn. Yeah, big horn. Good one. Once possessed of a mighty empire that stretched across great swaths of Guhur, the Ogroids, known to themselves as Goroans. Damn. Okay. More new names, I guess, huh? Fought alongside Gorkamorka's hordes, seeking the destruction of all that threaten the civilization. So they used to be destruction, now they're chaos. You're taunting me. Unfortunately, the Bone Splitters aren't the most reliable neighbors, and the Goroan Empire fell to rampaging greenskins. Oh, shit. Your empire was overturned by Bone Splitters? Imagine. The Shade Throne. You lost to Bone Splitters so hard that you got kicked out of the Grand Alliance. God damn. What an L to hold, ratio, and fell off the Grand Alliance. What remained of the Goro Ans were enticed by Archaon with promises of a new Heywoah, secure against all invaders. The land would become the 8 points there, under the shadow of the Varan Spire. The Ogoroids raise dark citadels, forge mighty weapons, and serve as overseers in the armies of Chaos. All right. This isn't the first time we've seen the Ogoroids, of course. The pit-fighting Mirbadan has been a regular celebrity of the Warcry arena for some time, while the arcane Ogoroid Thaumaturge, other wizards do you even lift, by the way, practices its deadly magic with Tzeentch's armies. The Ogoroid Theridons join them as a powerful heavy infantry option to the Slaves to Darkness. The distant rumbling of hoof beats suggest we've only got until winter to prepare. And we saw their war scroll, and they're sick. These dudes are awesome, actually. Top to bottom, I'm pleased. Can I check the tapes? Surely we have it pinned somewhere. All right, we're back. Ogoroid Theridons. War scroll leak confirmed. Here it is. So they're big. A fine banner. Big axes. You can have a shield version. They look great.
Which prime?
They look literally exactly like Bulgors, except cool. Instead of old and fugly and not wearing any armor. Pathetic. So, and a little more demonic, to be fair. They got some demon flair in them. There's precedence for Ogoroids being in Chaos for actually a pretty long time now. So, BOC players, BTFO. These are pretty Slaves to Darkness up dudes, actually, with a pedigree for being in Chaos armies. Less of a cow face, which actually looks better. Yeah, true. 6-inch move. It's fine for a foot troop, right? 5 up save. Bad. 5 wounds. Good. The exact number of wounds to capture 2. And have a decent amount of wounds. That's great. 6 bravery, sure. Their wheel is fine. Like, their save sucks, but who cares? If you get hit by anything in this game, you die, so whatever. Good amount of wounds, though, and decent move. Anyhow, Goro and Falchions. These are the big weapons. Range 2 inches, 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, neg 1, 2. And then Goro and Great Axe, 2-inch reach, 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, negative 2, 3. This profile right here is an Annihilator with Big Hammer profile, except 3 to wound instead of 2. Sometimes, as we'll get to later. One model in this unit can be a Thora Khan. Add 1 of the attacks characteristic of the model's melee weapons. Awesome. Alright. Now you have 10 attacks. 1 in every 3 models can be a banner bearer. Add 1 of the bravery characteristics of this unit if it includes any banner bearers. I sleep. But the banner looks cool, so who cares? 1 in every 3 can be a charge caller. Add 1 to charge rolls. Adding 1 to charge rolls is actually good. That's a good bonus. Your average charge roll is an 8 now. This is good. Musician is good. Champion is very good. Standard bearer, I sleep, but it looks cool. So, if the model in this unit is armed with a shield, it has a save characteristic of 4 instead of a 5. This is bad. You don't want this, ever. A 4-up save still sucks, by the way. And it means their damage is worse. And not only a little worse, like a lot worse. You don't want this ever. Berserker Rage. Add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by this unit if any wounds or mortal wounds were allocated to it earlier in the same phase. I can't see this happening very often. If wounds have been attributed to them earlier in the phase, they're probably dead. Maybe there's a combo there somewhere. This is like a nice to have, but you don't bank on it, sort of thing. Unleash Savagery. Once per battle, when the unit is picked to fight, you can say they will unleash their Savagery. If you do, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of this unit's melee weapons until the end of the phase. However, the unit cannot receive the Inspiring Presence command. Bro, I was not going to give it to him. Unleash Savagery? Hell yeah, dude. Plus 3 attacks? Now we're talking. This is awesome. This is great. So you're talking on the turn that it matters, i.e. like the first time they charge anything that matters, right? Any unit of your opponents that matters that you want to kill. 13 attacks on, spend a command point, 2s and 3s, negative 2, 3. Enslaves to Darkness with buffs such as reroll all hits and all wounds. Slaves to Darkness has some of the best combat buffs available to it in the entire game. They've just never had anything even remotely decent to put it on, hammer-wise. Everything in the fucking army does 1 damage. Pathetic. Except for Vanguard. In a certain circle. On the charge. So, I'm excited about Ogroid Theridons. I hope they're not unreasonably expensive. I hope they're, like, playably priced. Because, I mean, they're annihilators with big hammers. With +1 attacks once a game. In an army with way better combat buffs than Stormcast. So I'm downright excited about this unit, not just from a looks perspective, but from a rules perspective. This is the shit. Yeah, they don't have the mortal keywords, so we'll see what kind of bingo when the book comes out they will be allowed to play. I mean, you know, that could ruin everything, but new book, new bingo, right? They do get Mark of Chaos, right? No mortal keyword, you know, no demon keyword, nothing like that. So we just don't know because we don't know enough information yet. But it seems to me that these guys are going to be sick, as long as they're not priced out of playability. If it was a Mortal Wound 5-up Shrug, it would be a discussion. Yeah, maybe. Well, I still think no, probably. I would just take the Mortal Wound, or I would just take the damage, I think, for the most part. If I wanted something that could take a hit and not die, there's good Slaves to Darkness options. If I want something that actually does a shitload of damage, there isn't a lot of options, to be honest. So, it's sweet. Overall, these guys are sick. They potentially bring the damage, but again, let's not go crazy. Slaves to Darkness new book. It seems to be the case in 3rd edition. They're removing all the reroll stuff, or at least almost all the reroll stuff. I don't think I see Chaos War Shrine being an exception to that one. And you have to consider bingo. They're not mortals. I don't know how strong the bingo will be in the new book either. But even still, 3 attacks, 4 attacks once a game. After you're all out, you know, 2s and 3s, -2/3 is the shit. It is a can opener. It slaps. So, awesome. Anyway, that's the final verdict on these guys. They look cool. They are big. They have the potential to do great damage in an army that doesn't have a lot of damage weapons that go above 1. Which might be changing when we get new Chaos chosen as well. So, hype, actually. Then, this thing trolled me at first. When we saw this live, I thought, please don't be a commemorative coin. Please don't be a fucking commemorative coin. It was not. It was a ruse. And I was very pleased. I was pleased to get fooled, for sure. Because a commemorative coin would have been hella fucking cringe. But it was not. And it turned into, actually, the most exciting reveal for me out of all of them. Ogroid Theridons, Silvanath stuff that's downright exciting and really adding to their range. Skaven are getting something, even though it's a little disappointing that the oldest, shittiest model line is not getting updated as quickly as I would like, but plenty to be excited about for a lot of different people. I was the most excited about this one. Not necessarily the reason you may think. Allow me to elucidate. Alright, reveal the massive project to put mortals back into the mortal realms. There's plenty of mortal keywords. Chill out, writer. Mortal realms encompass worlds of high magic and impossible vistas of epic adventures. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. So far, the Age of Sigmar has seen mighty Stormforged warriors stand against monstrous hordes. Elves of flying sea beasts clash with legions of skeletal constructs, gargants. The size of castles wrestle with living gods, and plenty more besides. But there's one thing that's been kind of missing. The ordinary folks who populate the cities of Sigmar. That's right, potato people, potato sacks, disgusting shit peasants, dirt humans. What about them? What about the least heroic, most boring, least interesting possible part of the mortal realms? The critics might say. However, it is important to have something like that, narratively speaking, so that the setting is grounded in any way, instead of floating in space, which is what it figuratively and literally just is, right? And so while I'm taking the piss out of this, understand that I'm doing so endearingly. Toss a coin to your God King. Play the song Don't DMCA Me. Normal humans offer a vital window into the worlds of Warhammer when demigods clash and demon princes. It's the perspective of these mere mortals that gives us a frame of reference. True, actually. and helps us to imagine the scale. Imagine the scale. In Warhammer 40,000, we can compare the galaxy's myriad horrors to a humble guardsman, which helps us realize how lucky we are not to have to play that army and go for something actually interesting instead. I'm joking. 20% joking. Hey, they have tanks. Tanks are cool, right? We are not to have to go anywhere near an Avatar of Cain or a Hive Tyrant. The same is true of the Mortal Realms, and while miniatures like the Vendentists, if you remember those, Ilemda Brazkov from Warhammer Quest Cursed City, have shown us how cool humans can be. They've always been a rarity among our releases. It's time for that to change, as we reimagine the forces of common humanity in the cities of Sigmar. Organizing the Fractious. Fractious? Fractious or Fractious? I think it's Fractious, but let's just check the tapes here. I was a kid and I just read a lot. I didn't really talk a lot. I read a lot, so pronouncing stuff. All right.
Fractious.
Yeah?
Fractious.
All right, one more time.
Fractious.
Fractious. Okay. I did it. I guessed, and I guessed right. Got him. Okay. Ahem. Organizing the Fractious Free Cities is no easy task, so the full release is still quite a way off. We don't intend to sit around and wait. Over the coming months, you can follow those who talk up the coin malleus, a sacred symbolic payment given to the members of the Dawnbringers Crusade. And join us on Warhammer Community as we journey through the Warhammer Studios development of this jaw-dropping project. Nothing says jaw-dropping like the Dawnbringer Crusade. Am I right? Anyway. We've even managed to procure a sneak peek some of the early miniature renders that the studio is working on right now, asterisk. These are some of the insignia, emblems, and symbols that will come with your models to demonstrate their rather macabre dedication to the God King. Alright, this shit is hella small. You look at it, it kind of looks like Legos, but, you know, the scale on this thing is going to be in some dude on a 25mm basis hand. Alright, so these are very small. Sigma S. They should have made it the cool S. You know the one. They should have made it that one for the boomers in the audience, or maybe even the millennials in the audience. So not only are these rough drafts, clearly, but scales. Also, look at this. Look at my boy here. Hold up. I have to turn off dark mode. Scuffed dark mode. Look at my boy here. Alright, Smooth Boy in sarcophagi, in half carphagus. We protect Smooth Boy, alright? Smooth Boy is our little buddy. What's the matter, buddy? You good in there? You're holding your hands together? Alright, we're gonna protect you, alright? Smooth Buddy. New husbando, I guess. Smooth Boy was your nickname in high school? Good one. This is one of the biggest undertakings to hit the Mortal Realms since the launch of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Expect to see new concepts and miniatures grounded in the lore, but also quite unlike anything you have seen before. Check out the rest of today's big reveals from the Warhammer Fest online preview. Alright, so, for all you people, as an aside, for all you people saying they're going to squat Beasts of Chaos is getting folded into Slaves to Darkness, retired, legend status, it's moving out of the game. Like, this is what they do when they're doing something even close to that. They're telling you things are going to change around here, and it's going to be with Cities of Sigmar stuff. I don't think they do that out of the blue in 3rd edition, so I could be wrong, because here's my source.
Why don't you back it up with a source? My source is that I made it the fuck up.
I don't think this BOC Sky is Falling stuff has much heft to it. Anyway, this is why I'm the most excited about this. out of all of the previews we saw Thursday. All right. Because this is like, what are they doing here? Can I summarize this whole thing? Can we translate it through marketing speak? Age of Sigmar players and those who have been considering Age of Sigmar but haven't picked it up over the course of the past probably 4 years. The game's been out for 6. We hear your feedback. You have told us at every new release, when Lumineth Realmlords came out, what did everyone say? I want classic High Elves. What's this anime shit? When KO came out, I want classic Dwarves. What's this Steam Boy shit? You know, Fire Slayers came out. That was one unit. You're gonna make it a whole army? Where am I dispossessed at, right? Stormcast coming out. Every new Fish Elves coming out. Where's my Dark Elf Pirates or what, you know? Cities of Sigmar coming. Oh, I gotta. Where are my normal horses? Oh, it's another bird dog. It's another 3 different weird animals duct taped together. And these people, while a bit tiresome to be honest, at times had a bit of a point. If I'm to be charitable, and I intend to be, because it's easy to shit on just the whiners and just the bad opinions, right? Because it's far better to like find the glimmer of a good point and then speak to that, because you can safely ignore the stupid crap that they're saying. Because it is, right? So like, what's the glimmer of a good point? Well, gee, wouldn't it be nice to have a little grounding, a little basis in reality here, a little frame of reference? Wouldn't it be nice to actually have like real horses ever? All these like fantastic creatures are cool and exciting, and that's the whole point of Age of Sigmar. The whole point of Age of Sigmar is that what Games Workshop does is they take something and then they make it over the top. Silly, but kind of horrifying if you think about it for a moment. Like, that's their MO. That's their shtick. And Warhammer Fantasy back in the olden days was Tolkien made a more over the top and a little silly, but kind of horrifying if you think about it for a second. And when they made Age of Sigmar, they took Tolkien taken over the top and silly, and they bracketed that and made that over the top and silly. Like, they doubled it. We're doubling down, okay? The whole point of Age of Sigmar is that it's over the top fantasy. And that's fun. But it's nice to have a little reminder. It's cool when you have every single animal is 3 animals duct taped together, but it's nice when there's a horse somewhere, right? Anyway, I think this is cool. I'm pleased about it. And I'm kind of excited to see where it goes. And it's also the company saying, we have heard your feedback, and we're not ready to show anything because it takes a while for us to do stuff. But we're letting you know that you wanted this. And by gum, you're kind of right. We're going to do that. And not only are we going to do that, we're going to tell you we're going to do that. And it might not be soon, because the Sculpt pipeline is like 2 years, maybe 3. And the Battletome pipeline is 8 months or so. And so on and so forth. But instead of just not tell you shit for 3 years, and then one day, surprise, Dongbringer Crusade, out of nowhere, cities in shambles, right? Hey, we're going to tell you like what we're going to do, because human beings, and indeed customers, and I suppose it depends on what business you're in, but it might surprise you, but they actually have a budget. They budget things. They plan on making purchases. And so if the people have something to look forward to plan around, to get excited about, you can do all that drip feed bullshit you want, right? And window shopping, and ooh, maybe this new release will break someone's self-control and they'll spend money they didn't intend on or whatever. But if you know your army is getting a new book in winter, you're going to like plan on buying it then. It just works, right? So anyway, I'm ever so pleased. This might sound like patronizing almost, and I don't mean it to. I'm trying not to. Ironclad. I'm a tower of iron will, okay? I'm not being patronizing. This is great. You're telling us you're going to do something. You're telling us your intent. You're telling us why. Hey, we think it's a good idea too. We're working on it. Here's some pre-alpha footage, essentially, of, CAD files that we're working on. So it's not soon, but we're doing it, and we're doing something good, and we're doing something good that you wanted. And we're just working on it, man. Here you go. Thanks for playing. It'll take a while. Damn, this is like communication, I could immediately ruin this goodwill that I'm summoning up with great effort by talking about why does Daughters of Cain need yet another fucking book so fast? Or, we could talk about a lot. I'm going to just mention it in passing like I just did. And then say, part of the reason that I think my content at times is almost good is because I'm not just the guy who shits on everything. I shit on stuff that I don't like or I think is bad. And if I don't like it, I will say that I don't like it, but that doesn't mean it's bad. And if I think it's bad, I will say I think it's bad. And it isn't just like me not liking it, I think it's legit bad. I will tell you the difference. And if something is great or a good idea or cool or interesting, I will say that it is. In other words, I try to call a spade, right? So, this shit is hot. It's good. I think it's a cool idea. I think it's interesting. And I'm glad they're doing it. And I'm glad they're telling us about it this early. And I'm glad they're showing their stuff. This could be, as I'm reading right here, this sentence. Join us on Warhammer Community as we journey through the Warhammer Studios development process on this job. So they're turning it into a hype building marketing strategy. You're going to follow the journey of this thing during its development. So you're going to slowly build up hype for it and probably acquire some feedback at certain stages as well, which they may or may not use. God damn. That's great. So I'm excited. It's a sea change. It's turning over a new leaf, hopefully. What a time to be alive. James F. Workshop. Letting you know that they're doing something. And they're working on it, and they'll show you it as they're doing it. And it started out as a good idea. Moving on. 5 out of 7, good work. Revealed. A new General's Handbook opens for the first time this edition. Wait, didn't we get a General's Handbook in this edition already? Technically? Do you mean to say that, or was that technically at the end of, okay, this might just be, however you happen to word this, I'm sure it's technically correct. I don't care. Also, Trog Boy on the cover, Gietz, confirmed. Second battle tome. I'm inhaling hopium, vanilla flavored hopium, 100% pure for you on that one. Hopefully they've taken some of the feedback on the Gloomspite Gitz tome, such as, this is the worst battle tome you've ever written. The bingo is insane. It's almost like the army doesn't want you to have any fun or play anything. The army is terrified of you being too good when you were in no danger of even being kind of okay. Not so much randomness that isn't fun. Worst allegiance ability in the game. It's called the Bad Moon, and they accidentally lived up to that because it is bad. Hopefully it is the good moon next time. Anyway, just remember fun with this new Gloomspite battle tome. Remember fun, please. Anyway, confirmed because he's on the cover. Unless they're, they could be befuddling us all. And he's on the cover and just no gets. It's Gargants and Ogres or something. Boy, would that throw me for a loop, but a friend of mine is kind of mad that this might mean that his models are void, but you're looking forward. Oh, you're talking about the Cities of Sigmar thing. I don't know enough to even say that. I have no idea. I don't know what's going to happen. In the future, I will react to whatever happens, but I'm not sure. They said a lot about humans, but they didn't say exclusively humans. And I guess I don't know what's going to happen. I assume it's going to be like Devoted of Sigmar. You remember those guys? Maybe some crazy Catholic kind of little bit of Sisters of Battle iconography stuff all over, except they're like crazy fanatical, devoted humans worshiping Sigmar or something like that. Could be cool. Could be pretty cool. Warhammer Age of Sigmar players will be familiar with the General's Handbook, true, a periodic supplement packed with new ways to wage war. 2022 volume is the first for the current edition of this game, and it is bringing big changes to the Mortal Realms. We get one of these a year. Notice how it says 22 to 23, though. I think that's a first. Let's check the tapes. I have tapes to check. Yep. They all just have 1 year on them. Because I know the other ones did. I didn't know if 21 did as well. This one is 22 to 23. First one that did that. Could it be that we're going to chill in this General's Handbook for 2 years? Interesting. And while this is technically correct, this is how the other ones could have been written, they just weren't. Like, we got the 2021 General's Handbook in 21, but we've had it for 5 months in 22. It just wasn't printed on the cover, that's all. So maybe it's just like a little clerical update, right? Could it be 3rd edition Season 1? Yeah, maybe. They update their, the ways they write stuff and present stuff all the time. Maybe 3rd edition is going to have 6-month seasons. Could be interesting. The action's still raging across the realm of beasts, which a lot of people thought it was just going to go bulldoze straight into Ulgu for those shadow elves that people have been expecting in about 3 months for the past 5 years. Shadow elves, Malarian, right around the corner. I'm calling it. The next release, definitely shadow elves, is what I've been hearing content creators say for 5 years. And this time, no way is it the Realm of Beasts again in the General's Handbook. It's going to be Ulgu. We're getting those shadow elves. Well, still in the Realm of Beasts for the GHB. But while the last Pitch Battles pack was all about fielding monsters, killing monsters, and even turning into a monster, true, this season brings us back to basics. The latest General's Handbook emphasizes your humble battle line troops, warriors who've become veteran survivors of Gur. So we're getting rid of we're changing coherency then? Because while it is true that people like playing monsters in Age of Sigmar 3rd edition right now, it's not all because you get bonuses for killing monsters, or killing stuff with monsters, or you have a spell to turn into a monster for better capturing. It is for those reasons, but to be perfectly honest, the two far and away largest reasons people are playing hero monsters right now, and have been in all of 3.0, 2 reasons. 1, Roar is overpowered, and it stops command abilities. And why is Roar overpowered? Because it stops command abilities that are themselves somewhat overpowered. And 2, the core rules of the game shit on everything that's not hero monsters or mega elite MSU units. Some would say too much. And so it's that double whammy. If we're moving on to, battle line and stuff, interesting. Very interesting. You'll need these hard-bitten, and literally bitten given the wildlife they've been fighting, soldiers to claim and contest objectives with new realm rules, grand stratagems, battle tactics, and core battalions to help them out, to help them do just that. Rise up 2-inch reach chads. Yeah, pretty much. If you don't have 2-inch reach, you better be bringing something kind of absurd to the table. Ahem. Soldiers to claim and contest objectives. Okay. So battle plans that care about the battle line condition. They've been passing out battle line if like candy at a parade. Look under your chair. Everyone has fucking battle line. There are actually a ton of monsters as battle line. Now that I think about it in the game, it used to just be a Beastclaw Raiders thing, but then they gave it to everybody. And monsters capture pretty well anyway, right? And it used to just be a Beastclaw Raiders thing, but then they gave it to everybody. And man, there's a lot of battle line if in the game already. I wonder how much this changes armies exactly. I suppose we'll see. We can always theorycraft about it. Thinking about it is fun. Size and Gruel Boys, yeah. Battalion ability, rubber limbs, add 1 to melee range for all the units. Yeah, call it like gamer lean forward or something. Add 1-inch reach to all melee weapons, and suddenly almost every battle line unit in the entire game is twice as good as it used to be. Alright, the book includes 12 battle plans. Half. Follow the season's themes of infantry reclaiming Gur. I probably haven't mentioned this explicitly, I've probably implied it a bunch, but I like this. I like the fact that it's seasonal. I like the fact that the General's Handbook is couched in a real place with a map, like the Realm of Gur. It's got some lore in there. They've got an overarching campaign story. And the rules and stuff that they're using kind of feed into that. Even if it's something as basic as. The soldiers of the mortal realms are growing accustomed to fighting monsters and taking back Gur for the people, right? And so you have these battle plans that heavily favor infantry and probably give them bonuses against stuff or bonus capturing or whatever. And then the other 6 are in general use. I like all that stuff. I appreciate it. Also, it's not even symbolism, it's just literally what's happening, right? Their story is your battle-hardened, seasoned, experienced troops are growing accustomed to fighting monster heroes. That is the definition of what a changing metagame that adapts to what's good in the game by changing how they play and what they play is. It's just codified in the lore as well. Remember at the start of 3rd, when Sons of Behemoth were unstoppable, overpowered, so good, 5-0, 5-0, 5-0, and they very quickly became strong 4-1, but very rarely took the trophy because all the players that were trying to win trophies built armies on purpose to never lose to Gargants. Essentially, that's what happens. Like that's what a metagame is. You're adapting. Well, and then they came out with 6 months after everyone had done that, and Gargants were good, but 4-1, just kind of 4-1, 3-2 always, because everybody had adapted at that point. And then like way later, way too late, they're like, hey, we're going to release a balance update that gives you bonus points for doing what you had already decided to do 5.5 months ago. The only armies that really needed that were armies that weren't capable of adapting anyway, and so they just felt bad about it anyway. It's funny though. I think this is neat. The idea of taking something that really is just what the players are literally doing, and then writing a little cool story about it. Yeah, give me more of that. That's fun. Whether you're a tournament champion who's all about matched play, or a narrative gamer seeking new ways to wage war in the mortal realms, you want the new General's Handbook. I'm buying it. Mine is right here, on my chair, underneath like 7 hats. Never opened it. No, I'm kidding. I bring it to all my tournaments, of which I went to 1, I think, during COVID, but what are you going to do? Mortal Realms are more accessible than ever, but that's not all. Catch up. All right, the General's Handbook also includes Pitch Battle Profiles booklet, featuring updated points and other battlefield notes for every faction in the game. And other battlefield notes. Hopium detected. Okay. This volume's no different, but while the updated profiles are still included with the book, they'll also be available for free on the app. And right here on the Warhammer community website, because that's where you build your armies. It's always not like, I know everybody knows this, maybe everybody doesn't know this, but everybody who would ever be watching a show like this knows this. That the points are always free. And the War Scrolls are always free. And it does indeed every once in a while bear repeating. I'm pleased they let us know this, right? Because the points being free and the War Scrolls being free is a huge selling point of Age of Sigmar for me, in my opinion. It feels strange to say free and selling point in the same sentence, but I think it made sense. War Scrolls used to be on the website, and I really liked that because oh boy, is it good for streaming, where you can just bring up a War Scroll right on your browser. And I'm still sour about them removing it from the website. With much chagrin, I watched them do that, and I'm still complaining about it to this day. But it's still technically free. So I appreciate it, and thanks for letting us know. So that, I mean, good. I'm excited. New General's Handbook. Anyway, overall, as far as the reveals are concerned, for the AOS day, it was just bangers. There was only one, to me, there's one fly in the ointment and one ghostly question mark future fly in the ointment maybe. The oppressive weight of 1990s horseshit, embarrassing non-plastic that the Skaven Range sells, and they give you one hero. Fly in the ointment for sure of the reveal. However, new book on the way, and an updated, at least they updated one thing, so good. Silvanath, home run. New book on the way, expanded model range, in a model range that didn't have a lot in it. The shit looks sick. I'm pleased. 5 out of 7, great work. Ogroids are big and cool looking and do damage, and I'm excited for Slaves to Darkness. This wasn't like a big one, but it was not bad. They're telling us they are working on something that a lot of people asked for, and they're gonna, you know, they're working on it. So follow us along for the ride, and here's some updates. Really cool. Dongbringer's Crusade, right? The ghost of a question mark of a shadow in the ointment here is what the fuck is happening to all of the Cities of Sigmar models the people currently own? Are we really retiring stuff fully in the 3rd edition of this game that people have been playing for 6 years already? I actually don't know the answer to these questions because they haven't told us even near enough yet for me to know. Like, is Dongbringer Crusade simply a new army and you can play Cities of Sigmar 2 and that's fine? Maybe. We don't know enough yet, but I have a little bit of hesitance about that part of it, but about all the other parts of it, really excited. Gets confirmed, thumbs up. Every 6-month GHP, great. It forces them to pay more attention to balance. And it's not too fast to overwhelm anyone. If you're overwhelmed by one book every 6 months that changes points a little bit, and new battle plans, I don't know. Sorry, I guess. I didn't mean for this to be shitting on that sort of person I just picked out of the air. Hey, sorry for your loss, if that's you. And overall, a very exciting reveal show for Age of Sigmar after the most unprecedented, huge, full book leaks in rapid succession that we have probably seen, I think, in Age of Sigmar. The biggest and most amount of leaks back to back to back. Didn't ruin the next reveal show. In fact, not even close. This is one of the best ones yet. I'm actually just like extra excited about Age of Sigmar. And there's been fucking news to talk about instead of nothing. For the most part, thanks for watching.